They forged my signature to steal my house, then cried in court when the judge said, "Restitution." Hi, I'm Derek, 36, and this is the story of how I went from just the brother to the architect of my family's public downfall. All because they tried to steal my credit card, my house, and my peace and thought I wouldn't notice. It all started with a notification. December 25th, 6:47 a.m. I was halfway through a soggy toaster waffle in my apartment when I got the alert. Your Capital Loan card ending in 4406 has been declined for an $870 spa package. I blinked. Spa package? I was home alone for Christmas. No travel, no spa. No plans beyond leftovers and a Star Wars marathon. I opened the app, and my stomach dropped. Over $7,800 in charges in under 48 hours. A jewelry boutique, airport lounges, flight upgrades, champagne brunch, duty-free shopping in Aruba. I hadn't left Colorado. I was still scrolling in disbelief when my phone pinged again. Group chat message from my younger sister, Bree. He won't care. He never notices. Just make sure mom gets the necklace. It's her favorite. Then, 2 seconds later, oh my God, Derek. Ignore that. Wrong chat. So sorry. I didn't reply. Not yet. I screenshotted everything, froze the card, called Capital Loan and told them every charge was unauthorized. Then I called the cruise line. Yes, cruise line. Because apparently, the vacation I wasn't invited to had been booked using my emergency backup card, one my mom borrowed after her wallet was stolen last spring. I'd replaced it, but never canceled the old one. That was on me. What wasn't on me? The fact that my entire family, mom, dad, Bree, her fiancé, even Uncle Ken, were currently on a luxury Christmas cruise in the Caribbean, paid in part with my credit card. And I only found out because Aunt Liz posted a photo on Instagram with the caption, "Family is everything. Just the ones who matter." I hadn't been invited, hadn't even been mentioned. I guess I didn't matter, so I did the only thing that made sense. I reported every last charge as fraud, and then I waited. At 5:48 a.m., my phone exploded. 32 missed calls, 8 voicemails, texts from mom, Bree, even Uncle Ken. The cruise line froze their onboard accounts. The airline blocked their return flights. They were stuck mid-ocean. No access to cash, no internet, no free drinks, just the ones who mattered. And their mounting panic. And that was just phase 1. By noon on December 26th, they were in full meltdown. First came the voicemail from my mom, full of sugar-coated horror. "Honey, it's just a mix-up. We didn't think you'd be interested in a cruise. You always say you like quiet holidays. And that card, sweetheart, I thought it was one of our joint ones from the old account." Old account? I hadn't had a joint anything with her since I was 22, and paid off her car loan when she forgot to make 5 payments. Next was Bree. "You're being dramatic. Mom was gonna pay you back. She just didn't tell you yet, right? Because maxing out my card behind my back while sipping cocktails in Aruba was totally chill." Then came the kicker. My dad emailed me a full legal-sounding paragraph. "Derek, your mother and I feel you've grossly overreacted. This family supported you when you couldn't make rent back in college. Perhaps it's time you returned that generosity, that rent they covered. $400. Once. In 2008, I repaid it with interest when I got my first job, and they still hadn't invited me to Christmas. But here's where things went nuclear. The house they lived in, the one they posted porch selfies from every fall, that was mine. I bought it 6 years ago, in my name only, after my dad's business folded and they were about to lose theirs. They begged me for help, said it'd be temporary. I covered the mortgage, gave them a place to live, never asked for rent, just peace. And this was how they repaid me, by pretending I didn't exist. So I called my lawyer, 2 words, constructive eviction. By that evening I had legal paperwork drafted. I drove to my house with a locksmith, changed every lock, front door, garage, even the damn shed, and pinned a notice to the door. Occupants are required to vacate within 72 hours due to unauthorized use of financial accounts and breach of agreement. Then I sat on the porch, sipped a peppermint latte, and watched the neighborhood lights blink peacefully around me. They had no idea what was waiting when they got back. The next morning, I woke up to a voicemail from Bree. "What the hell, Derek? We can't check in for our flight. They say the payment's flagged. Fix it. Fix it, oh, sweetheart. Fix it? I already did. Their flight landed Sunday at 6:42 p.m. I know because I watched it on the airline app. Same account they'd booked under. Same card they'd drained. At 7:11 p.m. Our bell cam lit up. There they were. Sunburned. Tired. Wheeling luggage like they were arriving at a resort. My mom walked up first. Still wearing cruise flip-flops and a straw hat. Like this was still vacation. She tried her key. Once. Twice. Then came the stare. You know, the one where parents look at a lock like it betrayed them. Ad tried next. Jiggled the knob. Knocked. Rang the bell. Inside, the light stayed off. On the cam, I watched them peer through windows. Bree tugged at the garage handle. Uncle Ken kicked the front step like it personally offended him. Then, the phone rang. Again and again. I didn't answer. Eventually, they left. But the group chat lit up. Mom, we're locked out. Is something wrong with the door? Dad. Derek. This is childish. We need to talk. Bree, you're unbelievable. We just got off an international flight. Grow up. Grow up? You robbed me blind and ghosted me for Christmas. But I wasn't done. The next day, I delivered official eviction notices, one to their motel, thank you online booking history, one taped to my front door for dramatic effect, and one via email, with the PDF invoice attached. $8,341.46 unauthorized credit card charges, $390 locksmith fees, $1,800 retroactive utility and maintenance costs, $3,600 6 months of unpaid occupancy at below market rate, $2,000 legal fees and fraud investigation retainer, total balance $16,131.46 due immediately. By nightfall, I had 14 missed calls. One from Bree was a full 3-minute voicemail of her screaming, "You're destroying this family." Funny, I didn't destroy it when I paid off her car last spring, or when I replaced Mom's iPhone after she dropped it in the pool, or when I pretended not to notice that every Christmas, I was the only one bringing gifts and getting none. I just stopped funding the delusion. At 11:32 p.m., a blocked number call. I picked up. It was my dad. "Son," he said, voice quiet. "You made your point." "No," I replied. "I made my boundary." And then I hung up. 3 days later, I got a manila envelope shoved under my apartment door. No return address. Inside, a forged document. It claimed my dad had contributed $40,000 toward the house I bought and was therefore a silent co-owner. Attached was a fake notarized page stamped by none other than Aunt Liz. Yeah, just the ones who matter, Liz. The formatting was a joke. Wrong font. Wrong signature. Mine was an old one from college. They didn't even spell the address right, but they tried to pass it off as real. To overturn the eviction, I sat on my kitchen floor and laughed for a full minute. Then I forwarded it to my lawyer. "Forgery in a property dispute? That's a felony," he said. "We file this Monday." I didn't text them. I didn't call. I let reality handle that. Meanwhile, I got a call from my bank's fraud department. Someone pretending to be me had called, trying to reverse the credit card dispute. Said it was all a misunderstanding. Claimed I'd authorized the cruise. The voice? My mother, single quotes S.no disguise. No shame. Just full-on identity fraud. 2 investigations, running in parallel now. One for forged real estate documents. One for attempted financial impersonation. But wait, it gets better. At the grocery store that Friday, I got a tap on the shoulder in the parking lot. It was Mrs. Halvorsen, Aaron's neighbor. "Derek," she said, "I think your brother's been sneaking around." My brother. The same guy who hadn't spoken to me in 2 years unless he needed money. She'd seen him 3 times that week late at night, sneaking through the side gate, trying the basement window. Once he even kicked the fence when it didn't open. "Should I call the police next time?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "Please do. And thank you." I drove straight to the station, filed a trespassing report, submitted the security cam footage, and applied for a restraining order, approved by Monday. Ryan was now legally banned from coming within 100 feet of the property. I sent him a copy with a little note attached. "Merry belated Christmas. Try the spa instead." His reply: "You're tearing this family apart." Funny, because from where I was standing, the only thing I'd done was lock the door, and the wreckage was just beginning. By the second week of January, they were unraveling faster than a discount sweater in a laundromat. My inbox pinged with the collections notice. Not for me, for my mother. Turns out when I froze my card mid-cruise, she scrambled to save face. Opened two of her own, maxed both, trying to cover the gap, and wrote a bad check to the cruise line for the balance. It bounced hard. Now, she owed $4,600 to a collections agency, and their rep called asking for an updated address. I gave them the extended stay motel off I-70, room 214. They thanked me, but that was still not the final blow. The final blow came from the bank specifically. The mortgage department tied to my grandparents' old house. See, that property technically had always been in my parents' name. They inherited it, but it had fallen into disrepair years ago. Mold, water damage, 3 years of unpaid taxes. In 2020, I stepped in, renovated it top to bottom, covered all the back taxes, put in new plumbing, rewired it, got renters in. I didn't bother transferring the deed, thinking, hey, family's family. Yeah, never again. After the cruise debacle, they tried to refinance the house behind my back, probably to get quick cash, but the bank flagged it immediately, because their paperwork showed them as owners, but me making all the payments, holding the insurance, and collecting rental income. I got a call from a very confused loan officer. Mr. Barnes, can we confirm who actually owns this property? Oh, I will confirm everything, I said. That night, I opened my receipts folder, printed contractor invoices, bank statements, every payment I'd made, every email, every text where my dad said things like, thanks again for saving the house. I even had a casual agreement he signed 3 years ago typed, dated, and witnessed saying he had no financial claim to the home. Within 48 hours, my lawyer filed a quiet title action. Ownership was transferred. The locks were changed. The tenants notified. And my parents? They showed up that weekend expecting to crash there. Backup plan, I'm guessing. Still tan, still entitled, but the code didn't work. And the porch had a bright yellow notice. Private property trespassers will be prosecuted. My brother left a voicemail that night. You're mentally unstable. You stole from the family. We have nowhere to go. I sat on my couch, sipping coffee. Nowhere to go? Funny. That's exactly how I felt when you all toasted Christmas. Without me. It's wild how quickly people go from we're family to you're evil when the money tap shuts off. By mid-January, my parents were officially homeless, living out of a 2-star motel with coin laundry and a hot plate. Bree was couch surfing. Ryan was allegedly between jobs and blaming cancel culture for why no one would hire him. Spoiler, it was the restraining order. I heard from their church next. Yeah, their church, apparently. My mom had started telling people I was the estranged son who had abandoned the family after making some money in tech, left out the part where they committed fraud, trespassed, and used my identity to buy champagne at sea. The pastor actually called me. Awkward as hell. Hi Derek, just wanted to hear your side before we, offer assistance. I told him everything. The forged house, doc. The fake identity call. The theft. The exclusion. The voicemail. The cruise. The locks. He didn't interrupt once. When I finished, he cleared his throat and said, well, thank you for the clarity. He hasn't called since, but they still weren't done. A week later, I got served served with a civil demand letter from my sister Bree, on notebook paper, mind you, with the pink highlighter title, Emotional Distress and Defamation Notice. Apparently, the group chat screenshots I'd forwarded to my lawyer, she found out. And now she was accusing me of cyberbullying for weaponizing private texts against her. There was no court stamp, no filing number, just her signature and glitter pen and a list of damages, including being removed from the cruise spa guest list, loss of reputation with cruise staff, mental strain due to forced economy class rebook. I laughed so hard I cried. Then I mailed it back with a sticky note that said, tell the spa manager I send my regards. But the pettiness wasn't over. One afternoon, I came home to find flyers posted on my apartment mailbox. Color printed, laminated. Beware manipulative family destroyer. Poses as victim. Abuses elderly parents. Ask about the Christmas eviction. Guess who I caught on the security cam? Uncle Ken. Hoodie, Sunglasses, 9:43 am. Duct taping the flyers like he was part of some conspiracy task force. I sent the footage to my lawyer. He added it to the restraining order filings. The next day, I bought a paper shredder, a security spotlight, and a massive 16x24 sign for my door that read, "Smile. You're on candid camera. Legal notices welcome. Emotional blackmail not accepted." And then, I unplugged for 48 hours, went hiking. No phone, no Wi-Fi, just sky. When I got back, my inbox had cooled. For the first time in weeks, there were no voicemails, no fake letters, no porch cam alerts, just silence. It didn't feel empty. It felt like peace. February came, and with it, taxes. See, people dread tax season. Me, I couldn't wait, because this year, I had a folder labeled Family Fraud 2023, with every receipt, timestamp, and pixelated screen grab you'd ever need to bury someone politely and legally, while they were dodging debt collectors and begging church friends for grocery money. I was filing charges, formally. The district attorney's office accepted the forged co-ownership document as part of an ongoing real estate fraud investigation. Aunt Liz's fake notary stamp? That was now evidence. She might lose her license, possibly face jail time if she doesn't play ball. My mother's identity theft stunt? That became a second charge. The cruise line and credit card companies were cooperating fully. Audio logs, timestamps, even cruise cam footage showing my family literally swiping my card at the onboard jewelry boutique. There was no gray area left. I hadn't just pulled the plug. I turned on the spotlight, and the fallout? It was spectacular. Brie lost her influencer sponsorship, turns out threatening to sue your brother in glitter pen, and getting caught shoplifting a Gucci lipstick caught on mall cam. By the way, is bad for your beauty accountability brand. Ryan finally broke his silence by rage posting a 4-minute Instagram story calling me a tech snob and a cold-hearted sellout who weaponized capitalism against his own blood. Which, fun fact, he filmed in the parking lot of a payday loan place while borrowing Wi-Fi from a Taco Bell. My parents? They made one last Hail Mary play. They tried to leverage the church, not for help, for sympathy-based donations. They gave a teary testimony one Sunday about how their son turned his back on them after finding success, leaving out the part where they fraudulently maxed out his credit card, tried to steal 2 houses, and lied to every human they encountered. It almost worked, until someone in the congregation, a sweet retired teacher named Gloria, Googled me, found the public case summary, shared it with the entire prayer group. Oops. The next morning, my mom left me a voicemail. Just 6 words. "You've embarrassed this family beyond repair." And you know what? She was right. Because what followed wasn't just private fallout anymore. It was public. A local paper picked up the court filings after noticing a string of small claims and fraud complaints linked to my last name. Headline: Christmas cruise leads to fraud charges in family financial implosion. They even used a stock photo of a cruise ship under storm clouds. It was poetic. The article didn't name me directly, but it didn't have to. Anyone who knew us knew exactly what had happened. I expected anger, pushback. What I got instead: support. Former neighbors, co-workers, even old high school friends. All of them messaged, emailed, or stopped me on the street to say the same thing. "You did the right thing." I wish I'd had the spine to stand up to my family like that. Dude, I would have lost it after one stolen plane ticket. It was surreal, vindicating, almost healing, but the final nail didn't come from the courts, or social media, or the church bulletin board. It came from the tenant at the renovated house. The one I'd saved in 2020. He texted me out of the blue. "Just wanted to say thanks. House is perfect. Feels safe. You're a good landlord." That hit harder than any court victory, because that was the legacy I wanted. Not victim, not ATM, not the tech snob or the family scapegoat, just a man who did the right thing. For himself, for his peace, and the family. Well, they finally did the one thing I'd asked for all along. They left me alone. It's been 10 months. And no more voicemails. No text ambushes. No suspicious flyers taped to my door. Just quiet. Full, uninterrupted, grown up. Quiet. I didn't get revenge. I got closure. The fraud cases? Both moved forward. The DA dropped the felony charges down to misdemeanor fraud and forgery in exchange for guilty pleas. Aunt Liz lost her notary license. My mom and dad were sentenced to probation, ordered to pay restitution, and barred from opening any new lines of credit for 24 months. They never apologized, but they did cry in court when the judge read the terms out loud. The house? Still mine. Fully titled, fully insured, fully protected. The tenants renewed for another year and just sent me a holiday card with a crayon drawing of their toddler in front of a snowman. I keep it on my fridge. My old apartment feels lighter, not because it's cleaner or redecorated though it is, but because I don't walk in the door wondering when the next ask, guilt trip, or passive-aggressive text will drop. I got my peace back, and I learned something. Family is not defined by obligation. It's not who shares your last name or who claps loudest when you buy brunch. It's who shows up when there's nothing to gain. For me, that looked like my best friend Marcus, who quietly moved in for a week after the whole mess hit and stocked my fridge with pizza and cheap whiskey. Mrs. Halvorsen, who now watches my place like it's a federal building and texts me every time a flyer goes up anywhere nearby. My therapist, who helped me unpack why I kept giving people chances they didn't earn. And weirdly, it looked like me, the guy I used to be, the one who bent backwards to keep the peace, who never said no, who sat through family dinners while people talked over him and called him selfish. When he wanted a weekend alone, he's gone. I don't miss him. Christmas rolled around again. No tree, no gifts, just me, a fireplace video on YouTube, a steak in the cast iron, and my dog. Yeah, I adopted a rescue mutt named Turbo. He's 11 pounds of judgment and snoring. We get each other. Around PM, I got a final message from Bree. Just 3 words. Are you happy? I stared at it. No punctuation, no apology, no ownership, just a question, flung like a rock at a window she burned down months ago. I didn't respond. I didn't have to, because I am, truly, fully, not spitefully, not performatively, just free. My family went on a vacation and pretended I didn't exist. I gave them the future they asked for. They lost a free ride, a second home, and access to someone who would have given them the world if they'd just treated him like he belonged. I lost 3 people who never saw me as anything more than a line item in their budget. Feels like I came out ahead, and now I'm not looking back. Not because it hurts, but because the view going forward is just that much better.